This is the story of a boy who became a sorcerer. By happenstance, he glimpsed the true nature of the universe one twilight, and the horror and beauty of it changed him. He had been born in a tiny village of parents who were humble serfs. After his encounter with reality, they were silly things to him, these people who he once loved, and so he left them. He wandered the land far and wide and had many strange encounters, but rarely did anything he experienced move him. His glimpse of the multiplicity of realities behind this dream of consciousness had made his waking life seem paltry indeed. Thus, miserable and bored, he ended his wanderings. He built himself a tower of black stone that rose high, high, high into the sky. Though it had many, many floors, he forsook them all except for the top three. The highest level he used as a sleeping chambers. The middle level he used as a laboratory, library, and reading room. The final level he used as a pantry and storehouse. And except for an occasional jaunt to the nearest city for provisions, he rarely left his tower, having accumulated a great store of poetries and philosophies and annals and histories and theories for experiments he aimed to carry through. He was 30 when he built his tower, and he dwelt there unmolested for years uncountable. As the years rolled on, he grew a long gray beard, talons for fingernails, and expanded his knowledge of the worlds and time and reality, though he never, not by a whit, came close to experiencing reality the way he had that incidental twilight. In this way his misery grew. He took to smoking a plant that numbed the mind, and drinking strong intoxicants that he would brew in his alchemical laboratory, a place where once he had brewed love potions and poisons and cures to horrible diseases and other wonders. He rarely had visitors, and when some unknowing stranger, a traveling merchant, a soldier, a waylaid wanderer, would come upon his tower, he would host them but begrudgingly, serve them stale bread and water, and never a word of goodwill, or a good travels, or a may your trail be brigand-free and full of sun, pass his lips. One day, when he was smoking and grumbling over some book he had lost interest in, a soldier came, fresh from the wars, his wounds still fresh yet healing, to beg for shelter as enemies followed close behind him. I cannot explain it, but a rage bloomed then, and he flayed the soldier with his magic and hung his dripping skins from the parapet of the tower door. It so happened that the story of his foul murder reached the city, supplied the tower, and a rabble was organized to bring the sorcerer to justice. When the gang arrived to the tower, their attack was brief and absurd, and soon 65 more skins hung from the tower. The sorcerer thereby ceased all intercourse with the world outside his tower. Many years passed, and the folk of that land assumed the sorcerer had died. And yet a taboo still lingered around that tower. Some bold folk went there to salvage what they could, and when they never returned, the taboo grew greater still. Eventually dark things began to creep from the tower. One mysterious murder became two. One summer, an entire farm was burned. 4 families were carried off by lumbering shapes, shadowy things. In less than a year, the land surrounding the tower had become a wasteland, a haunted place shunned by all. Prophets whispered that a sorcerer lived there, and that he plotted the end of the world. A group of bold adventurers, princes and princesses all, sons and daughters of kings and high priests, ventured into that land. Many trials they suffered, but they found the sorcerer and killed him.